red lanterns in a foggy night, lonesome whistles down shining wounded rails, as the ghost of the Superchief silently runs through the Indiana farmland, deep in the heart of a country trying desperately to remember itself. It's summer on the Guadalupe River. Red-winged boots and resistol hats. Taco Bell and the Fountain Motel. 46 East and Molly Joe's. Mom and Dad shaved ice cones. Milkman's truck and satellite dishes. Psychic readings look suspicious. Apache Verde. Anita's Lone Star, linoleum floors, inner tubes on the Guadalupe River, and it's one more mile to Slaughter Lane. San Marcos truck stop, upside down at Wonder World, stars and stripes in the Texas wind, Texas t-shirt guy's name's Slim. Road construction, iron cranes, Goodwill cars with Pontiac names. Texas red and lowered cars. University Town and Texaco stars in San Antone. And it's one more mile to Slaughter Lane. Candle shops, sirloin steaks. Pancake hops, RV sales, fireworks stands, Austin, Waco, Travel Land, Diet Pepsi and Avian, inside height, nose to rear, dashboard, notepad, second gear, and it's one more mile to Slaughter Lane. Ice Age Carver expose. The Gentleman's Club with a blonde sachet. St. Elmo's Road. Walmart sign. Giant Frogs used car lines. Country songs that I don't know. Easy Pawn. Rent to own. Budget in, TV and phones. It's sundown on the Guadalupe River. Styrofoam coolers. The new tumbleweed. And it's one more mile to Slaughter Lane. babies and roses, white babies and roses, white babies and roses, on that long straight highway to the sea. Golden ponies from Harlem, golden ponies for Scotland, golden ponies from Harlem, on that long straight highway to the sea. Silver circus from Charlotte, Sheila works in Ohio. There she plays her piano on that long straight highway to the sea. Flaming queens and night school showers, monkey shores and neon flowers, TV and desperate hours on that long straight highway to the sea. Coca-Cola's at twilight, topless strippers and barley, big tippers and all white on that long straight highway to the sea. Cheap sundowns and fairlanes, steep rundowns of no names, sleeping clowns are in Coltrane on that long straight highway to the sea. Flaming queens and night school showers, monkey shores and neon flowers, TV and the desperate hours on that long straight highway to the sea. Apparitions and holograms, blue Madonnas and honeyland, recognition of Kuklafer on that long straight highway to the sea. White babies and roses, white babies and roses, white babies and roses on that long straight highway to the sea. White babies and roses, white babies and roses. It's Blaise Diego on the Tucson road. Rocket Roy in the real world. Hot wind and forbidden hair. Top-down weather, roadside flares. While eyes on the reservation watch the sky as black asphalt ribbons cut across sacred ground, across sacred lives. And sad-eyed young braves stumble and fall, and remember one bright angel in the window of the Christmas store at the Fashion Square Mall. Hot air balloon flagship down, the speed of sidewinders, hot desert towns, supermarkets, fireworks stands, steel machines, rock and roll bands, radial carcasses, vulcanized roadkills from a 18-wheeler's speed, Budweiser billboards for Budweiser breeds, Blaise Diego and Alamo wheels, police tapes and Pepsis and Circle K meals, yards off the highway, reservation jams on well-worn Telecasters and hard-weathered hands, dead drunk in the tail bed of some pickup Dodge, Lucky Strike traders, the sweat of the lodge. As sad-eyed young braves stumble and fall and remember one bright angel in the window of the Christmas store in the Fashion Square Mall. Blaise Diego, Strawberry Dreams, Nightline and Ready Whip and pre-faded jeans, and Rocket Roy in the real world, life on the run. Blaise Diego, way too much fun. While the Apache Nation, Hopi, Navajo, Mojave, Radio Shack stereos, Migo Kemosabe, turquoise bracelets and beaded belts and medicine bundles and lion skin quivers and mesquite wood war clubs, calendar sticks, eagle feathers on short rods, shaman's tablets, cocoons strung on cords, white man schools, corrupt chief suicide races, as sad-eyed young braves remember one bright angel in the window of the Christmas store at the Fashion Square Mall. It's Rocket Roy in the real world. Blaise Diego suck down crystal water bottles and dream of one bright angel in the window of the Christmas store in the Fashion Square Mall. I'm lost in the paradise, tasting the cream that's falling like rain now in a moonlight dream, in a moonlight dream. In the beautiful cities with their cool Fahrenheit and slow motion angels holding us tight in a moonlight dream, in a moonlight dream. In a moonlight dream. In a bright Phoenix skyline, with the boulevard queens and the pale blue flamingos in a moonlight dream, in a moonlight dream, in a moonlight dream, in a moonlight dream. Red lanterns in a foggy night, lonesome whistles down shining wounded rails, as the ghost of the Superchief silently runs through the Indiana farmland, deep in the heart of a country trying desperately to remember itself, to remember Norman Rockwell and mealtime prayers, Mom and Dad in second floor stairs, guests for dinner, don't be late. Iron street lights, garden gates, the Mission Inn in the Riverside days, Nancy Mulkey sidewalk play, honking horns on VJ Day, Texaco fire and night red sky, Hopalong Cassidy and neckerchief slides, Jimmy Stewart, Doris Day, Barry Fitzgerald going my way, National Velvet, Kim Novak's eyes, the bells of St. Mary's, the best years of our lives, county fairs and carnival rides, tilt-a-wheel, shoot the moon, electric horse race, pale balloons, summer days that never end, blue Schwinn bikes, the best of friends, Pasadena, Chapman Woods, touch football in the neighborhood, merit badges, white bright futures, cool machines, movie stars, boyhood dreams, as the Superchief runs silently through the Indiana farmland, deep in the heart of a country trying desperately to remember itself. There was Hunter Sanctum and Abbey Slats, the FBI in Peace and War, Isle of a Mystery, DiMaggio's Pat, Edgar Bergen, Mortimer Snerd, Corliss Archer, spoken words that had more pictures than NBC, Grand Central Station, Fibber McGee and Molly in the closet door, Blondie and Dagwood, lying on the floor with my eyes closed tight and whirls away as the radio blended night from day. There was Woodrow Wilson Junior High, Rosemead, Colorado, Thorndale signs, Corona lunch breaks, Second World War, fresh mowed lawns and hobby stores, distant whistles of distant trains, 5 o'clock shadows in the summer rain, as the Superchief runs silently through the Indiana farmland, deep in the heart of a country trying desperately to remember itself. I remember America. I remember it well. When you could walk downtown on a Saturday night without the smell of fear on your shoulder as you jump at every sound. and you never look in the eye of any stranger who could easily gun you down. Oh, I remember America. I remember every town when crack was a sound that caps would make, and the only guns that kids would have around. I remember America, and I remember my friends. I remember America, and I want to be safe again. I remember America. I remember the time when rock and roll was cool and fun and you'd read between the lines. I remember America like you remember the dead. When freedom of speech wasn't every four-letter word a sailor never said. Oh, I remember America, and I remember my school. Now it's graph and gangs and guards and guns and needles in the pool. Oh, I remember America, when kids could walk alone, go to the corner for a root beer float and safely make it home. I remember America, and I remember my friends. I remember America, and I want to be safe again. I remember America. I remember my home, that any working man could proudly say it was something that he owned. Oh, I remember America, and I remember the day, November 22nd, 1963, when they blew the dreams away. I remember America, and I remember my friends. I remember America, and I want to be safe again. Well, I remember America. I remember America. I remember America. I remember America.
Oh, that cat? That is a natural mummified cat that someone sent to me. I'm always getting different strange gifts, and this poor thing probably got caught under a porch, and it just died that way. But it's truly naturally mummified and a strange kind of object.
What kind of shoes you want? What kind of shoes do you want? What kind of shoes you want? Living in the world. Living in the world. Living in the magic world. Living in the world. What kind of car you want? What kind of car do you want? What kind of car you want? Living in the world. Living in the world. Living in the magic world. Living in the world. Living in the world. What kind of girl you want? What kind of girl do you want? What kind of girl do you want? Living in the world. Living in the world. Living in the magic world. Living in the world. Living in the world. What kind of dreams you want? What kind of dreams do you want? What kind of dreams do you want? Living in the world. Living in the world. Living in the magic world. Living in the world. Living in the world. Living in the world. UFOs and grassy knolls, Michael Jackson channel souls, anal Christians afraid of gays, shameless pooftas, shades of gray, divorcing children, Kmart clothes, aerobic robots, Jackson's nose, MTV, 911, skinheads having skinhead fun, Florence, Manchester, Dealey Plaza, timeless trash molesting fathers, grooveless rock and pointless stories, Beavis Butthead, tasteless glory, madman's art and artless hands, tuneless songs and heartless bands, millionaires who still want more, children sleeping on the floor, Houston Astros, Phoenix Suns, Brooklyn Dodgers, children's guns, magic malls, acoustic floors, so we all will buy some more. Cindy Crawford, Chevy Chase, Wheels of Fortune, Jackson's Face, Whoopi Goldberg, studied hip, Kathy Lee in movie clips, tabloid news to feed the beast, Pope mobiles and treble priests, HBO and Cinemax, Bryant Gumbel, Peter Max, heavy metal, Seattle bands, mosh pit boys with screaming glands, Oprah Winfrey, Nightmare Lives, Gladiators, Thunder Thighs, fetal implants, Baby Jane, baby steps, baby brains, Howard Stern and acid rain, baby boys in Michael's bed, Biafra babies never fed, Rush Limbaugh, ACLU, global warming, me and you, it's Princess time in Culver City, it all comes down to pretty, nitty gritty, pretty. Railroad tracks and hearts of sorrow, searchlight dreams in the neon sky, straight edge razors and the long stem roses, blue-eyed girls in the Roosevelt dimes, white men's churches and wearing blenders, refrigerator magnets, vacant smiles, movie star shoes and ice cream glasses, talking clocks and slaves to style. We're living in a hopeless utopia. Living in a hopeless utopia. We're living in a hopeless utopia. Hopeless utopia. Football jerseys and Formica diners, Lucille Ball and tennis shoes, bright young midgets in the silver liners, forever amber and baby blues, perfect dreams and cool verandas, jukebox baby dreams of Dan, permanent waves and the red bandanas, diamond rings on the tattooed hand. And we're living in a hopeless utopia. Living in a hopeless utopia. Living in a hopeless utopia. A hopeless utopia. Mothers rocking plastic babies, speaking dogs and silent screams. There is magic in the lesser children. There is wisdom in the madman's dreams. Soda fountains and the smell of jasmine. Betty Grable in cowboy jeans. Resurrection in the face of failure. Protection for the fallen queen. We're living in a hopeless utopia. We're living in a hopeless utopia. Living in a hopeless utopia. Hopeless utopia. Diversions in the wake of ashes. Darker angels are about. AA guides and acid flashes. Camels' backs and straws of doubt. TV wars and bright Nintendos. White bread smiles telling lies. Godless schools and steel crescendos, the fall from grace was no surprise. Salvation lives in our own eyes, for we're living in a hopeless utopia. We're living in a hopeless utopia. Living in a hopeless utopia. Hopeless utopia.
Red lanterns in a foggy night, lonesome whistles down shining wounded rails, as the ghost of the Superchief silently runs through the Indiana farmland, deep in the heart of a country trying desperately to remember itself. It's Rocket Roy in the real world. It's Rocket Roy and the True Believer. Blaise and Diego and the Monkey Boy. With Johnny Dreams and Rissy Mary Thankful. It's Rocket Roy and the Time Cowboys. Lost somewhere between World War II and the new millennium. Between Blondie and Dagwood and Mulder and Scully. Between the Hudson Hornet and the Mars Rover. Between the Little Red Schoolhouse and Columbine. Rocket Roy and the Time Cowboys, out there on the endless highway, or the long train of dreams, as the ghost of the Superchief silently runs through the Illinois farmland, deep in the heart of the country, trying endlessly to remember itself.
I'm a traveler, I'm riding through time. I have a ticket to the end of the line. Lights of the city are passing in blue. stare and reflection, searching for you. Stopped off in heartbreak, it was back down the line in the hotel of tears. I spent some hard times, I'm seeing that life is not what it seems. On the long track of lies runs a long train of dreams. I'm riding the liner, the lonesome express. The end of the line is our only address. I'm riding the liner, all silver and clean. On the long track of lies runs a long train of dreams. On the long track of lies runs a long train of dreams. Comfort the porters, taking good care. I have no compartment, I sleep in the chair. I dream of a stranger who captures my soul. I hear that we're singing through years as we roll. I walk through the Pullman on my way to the bar. At the end of the train, in the desperate car, in the dark of the tunnel, the hiss of the steam reminds me I'm riding the long train of dreams. I am riding the liner, the lonesome express. The end of the line is our only address. I am riding the liner, all silver and clean. On the long track of lies runs the long train of dreams. On the long track of lies runs the long train of dreams. I have faith you will find me, but I will find you in the lights of the station. Of all that is true, I search for a stranger with eyes who are kind. I will hold you forever at the end of the line. I am riding the liner, the lonesome express. The end of the line is our only address. I am riding the liner, all silver and clean. Long track of lies runs the long train of dreams. I am riding the liner, silver and clean. On the long track of lies runs the long train of dreams. On the long track of lies runs the long train of dreams. I will never forget Aunt Dolores in the dusty white Plymouth she sat, with a dozen white lilies and ribbons carefully held in her lap.
and she smiled serenely at no one as her memories faded away. You see, she's having a party. It's her 91st birthday today. See the hearse stalled out there on the highway. Some neighborhood boys looked inside. The long metal box was so shiny. They wonder who's taking the ride. And Henry has found a brown lizard sunning itself on the ground. And the hearse pulls away quite unnoticed as they're passing the lizard around.
One tiny grain of sand cast against the sky, a million stars around it to see that it can fly. And around the stars, the heavens, and all that lies beyond. All around this grain of sand, we are standing on.
And if you turn off on Glen Annie Road and a pretty young girl comes your way, it's just a lane out chasing the morning. It's her favorite time of the day.
One tiny grain of sand cast against the sky, a million stars around it to see that it can fly. And around the stars, the heavens, on all that lies beyond. All around this grain of sand, we are standing on. And around the stars, the heavens, and all that lies beyond. All around this grain of sand, we are standing on.
Stratocasters, Fender amps, Buick Skylark summer camp, Philco decks and lava lamps, Stratocasters, Elvis stamps, Buddy Holly and aeroplanes,
the great pretender and fleeting fame, teddy bears and what's his name, Chevrolets with painted flames in the radio days, in the radio waves, in the radio craze, we were radio slaves. Eric Como finds a wheel, Elvis Presley, he was real, something that the girls could feel, something that the boys could steal. Peggy Sue and Brenda Lee, JFK and Wounded Knee, the atom bombs and Tasty Freeze, Cuban shirts and baby please, in the radio days, in the radio waves, in the radio craze, we were radio slaves, we were radio slaves. And secret sex, Rose Parade and rubbernecks, Frigidaires and bouncing chicks, the Beach Boys on the burning decks, Platinum Blondes and Dixie Beach, Pond Farm girls are out of reach, James Dean has defined our speech, endless bungers, Newport Beach, in the radio days, in the radio waves, in the radio craze, we were radio slaves, we were radio slaves, in the radio days, in the radio waves, in the radio craze, we were radio slaves, we were radio slaves, we were radio slaves, we were radio slaves. Attention Kmart shoppers, do you really need all of that crap? Made somewhere in Thailand, no one's taking the rap. I'm holding out for yellow, airbags in my shoes. I saw the ad from Calvin Klein, it's the kind the junkies use. Watching too much TV, when will I ever learn to call me the midnight surfer? Love to watch the channels turn. At 8 p.m. on channel 2, when animals attack, there's a lot of guys that I once knew with monkeys on their backs. And written on the bathroom walls, that the old fan dancer cleans is the never answered question. Who stole the soul of Johnny Dream? Singing dog named Pee-wee, star of the neighborhood, singing songs from Oklahoma, Tutti Frutti's awfully good. Straight-edge boys cooking tofu for his friends. They're planning their next city, or the animals have friends. Oh, and written on the bathroom wall that the old fan dancer cleans is the never answered question. Who stole the soul of Johnny Dream? Still in the circus floor, taking a croquet. Someone stole a Ferris wheel in Fargo yesterday. I have no sense of who I am, who that I'm not. Am I the great Woodlander that everyone forgot? Still I write the songs that only I will sing. Something has gone wrong, it's the bell that never rings. Hip-hop rappers and DJs, pop stars, lawyers and thieves. Someone's selling the rainbow and things that you wouldn't believe. And written on the bathroom wall that the old fan dance cleans is the never answered question. Who stole the soul of Johnny Dream? I see it written on the bathroom wall that the old fan dancer cleans the never answered question. Who stole the soul of Johnny Dream? Who stole the soul? Is the weather any better, any further down the road? Jimmy Wheeler would have been here, but he died. And I gave my only sweater to a girl that I didn't know, 'cause I showed her Jimmy's letter and she cried. Rivers of light down the road in the night, why don't you wake up Mary so she can see? Rivers of light down the road Why don't you wake up, Mary, so she can see? There's a face behind the blind. Don't you fade any blind? 'Cause they don't take strangers passing by. Someone robbed a dry goods store 39 before the war, and they don't think it's safe out after 5. Rivers of light down the road in the night. Why don't you wake up, Mary, so she can see? Rivers of light down the road in the night. Why don't you wake up, Mary, so she can see? Is the weather any better, any further down the road? Jimmy Wheeler would have been here, but he died. Gave my only sweater to a girl that I didn't know, 'cause I showed her Jimmy's letter and she cried. The rivers of light down the road in the night. Why don't you wake up, Mary, so she can see? Rivers of light down the road in the night. Why don't you wake up, Mary? Rivers of light down the road in the night. Why don't you wake up, Mary, so she can see? Rivers of light down the road in the night. Why don't you wake up, Mary, so she can see? So she can see. So she can see.
I remember Riverside, California, 1945. There were air raids then out in California. And we had to blackout the house every night by 7 o'clock. We used to eat dinner in the dark. So the planes, the Japanese planes, couldn't see the town. I remember standing out on the front lawn one night, watching these searchlights catch this airplane, and heard the artillery fire. And nothing was ever reported about it. My mom said in the paper, but they were shooting at somebody. And Route 66 seems to be the main artery of America, and has been. Wouldn't even go away, when they tried to tear it down. They started painting Route 66 signs on the concrete. And people started going back. But in 1945 and Route 66, and especially in New Mexico, was a very, very auspicious, strange time, because they had the triangle of Los Alamos and White Sands and Roswell, all within that same circle of time, where Oppenheimer and the boys were playing with the snake. Walter Cunningham sweltered in that little room in Chicago, Illinois in 1942, staring at the instruments that said they had isolated the plutonium sample, and the Chicago pile number 1, the first man-made reactor, had cornered the beast, and it was hungry. And in a town thrown together by the Army Corps of Engineers in Los Alamos, New Mexico, horned toads lay still and silent in the 110-degree sand. And thousands of tarantulas ran in crazy, senseless patterns like Keystone cops drunk on the nectar of America's oven. In the great Southwest, where Oppenheimer and the boys were playing with the snake. But the beast was awake and hungry as Seth Niedermeyer, Nels Bohr, and Edward Teller were playing with the snake with the calm of a Kansas City baker with nothing more than a oven full of wheat bread and crullers for the morning delivery, as Hungarians and Italians and Germans and Poles and Jews were racing for Manhattan and Trinity, the Father, the Son, the holy fire of critical mass, as Emilio Sigri and Enrico Fermi and Hans Beth adjusted wire-frame glasses and sipped thick black coffee in cups with the grit of Los Alamos sand that was now a part of everything they touched or saw or consumed, and their wives who had the quiet resolve of scientists' wives, who suffered the long hours of those who had married men who had married numbers, and concepts and curiosity that brought them together in those dingy little rooms in the desert of New Mexico where they knew the beast was hiding, waiting for liberation. Men who now were playing with the snake on a hot steel tower, born of Trinity, son of Manhattan, child of the atomic age, of atomic men with wives, whose canasta games and bridge tournaments served only to mask the basic needs of all sequestered women in the world of intense men, working in worlds known only to them. In a feeding frenzy not even revelations could foretell, and the beast was awake, and the beast needed feeding, and it was called the Gadget, and they carried its body parts from Los Alamos to White Sands to Alamogordo to Trinity, and the back seats of sedans like potato salad for the 4th of July picnic. And Robert Oppenheimer, the slight, gaunt man with these haunted eyes of a renegade saint, who had seen the other side and gone mad, and with the stars of Einstein's comet, who knew that the time was but an illusion, that there was no time, that everything was happening at the same time, and Oppenheimer had seen it all before, for he was chosen to release the beast, as he had done before, in the endless circles of a cosmic tragedy, far beyond the understanding of the eggheads who jerry-rigged the Gadget to the top of a steel tower in White Sands, New Mexico, in the heart of Trinity, the heart of Manhattan, where the beast was awakening, for Oppenheimer and the boys were playing with the snake. You could see the bones in your hand if you held them in front of your eyes to shield them from the blast on that July morning of 1945. And miles away, a girl who had been blind since birth saw the light. A flash of light the moment the plutonium imploded on the core to achieve critical mass, and in a nanosecond of gestation, the egg and the sperm united, and birth was instantaneous. And the beast that had waited in eternity for its day to mock the sun arrived on the sands of New Mexico with a heat that turned the sand to a green fused glass that fanned out hundreds of yards around ground zero, a mirror for the vanity of Manhattan and Trinity, the face of the beast that roared its sound never before heard by the image and likeness of God, who saw a mushroom cloud rolling, rising, the phallic of the dark side, the taste of hell that opened its jaws and vaporized the tower holding the Gadget until that morning of July 16th, 1945, where J. Robert Oppenheimer and the boys were playing with the snake. And the beast had a taste for destruction as Little Boy and Fat Man were loaded aboard the USS Indianapolis bound for Tinian, and the Enola Gay droned over the empire of the sun. And Secretary of State Jimmy Burns urged Truman to drop the bomb, end the war, and Paul Tibbets handed over the controls to Thomas Furby, who tasted the metal of radiation in his mouth as the Enola Gay lurched upward into the side with the first concussion of the blast. And Hiroshima would be charred into the memory bank of all people for all time who know what happened on that August day in 1945, when the virgin death was flashed upon the city, flashed in the shadows of flesh. Enola Gay dropped Little Boy with the nonchalance and dispassion that only the mother of all nightmares could, and Fat Man would follow suit over Nagasaki, for the genie was out of the bottle, never to return. And the haunted eyes of J. Robert Oppenheimer carried a karma not to be defined by the likes of us, and to tarantulas that dance on the green glass at Trinity, where Robert Oppenheimer and the boys were playing with the snake. Something so American about that time. In Route 66, it holds our dream and the nightmare all at the same time. The birth of the American dream and the death of it all began in the 40s. I saw Robert Oppenheimer at the White House when I was 19. Was there with the trio in the 60s. And he had this look of this holy look, like he was Gandhi. It was the strangest thing. He had more charisma than any man I'd ever seen.
As the light of the hunter's moon lay across the Mojave sand, the witness stood on the plateaus of Edwards Air Force Base and looked up. The spirits of the Apache, Mojave, and Navajo watched the sky and heard the thunder that was not from the rain. It came as Chuck Yeager and glamorous Glennis cracked the invisible wall in the great blue yonder. Spirits in the primal dust watched the stars long before the millions of buffalo followed the drift of the northern plate into the guns of the October horse soldiers. And their spirits were there at Edwards Air Force Base in the California desert with Scott Crossfield, Kit Murray, Carl Ridley, and Slick Goodwin. They were in the capsule with Shepard and Scott Carpenter and were seen as fireflies by John Glenn on that February night when he circled the earth in the trail of Yuri Gagarin. They were there in the endless night sky that covered the town of Lawrence, Kansas in the summer of '69. A summer not unlike all the other nights that showed the plain states the tail of Halley's Comet and the meteor showers in clear summer skies. The TV screens were never dark in those sweltering times of mid-July in 1969. The neighborhood boys with their Buck Rogers ray guns and their John Glenn space helmets watched the sky when their eyes weren't glued to the black and white network images of searchlights and silhouettes on the launch pads of Cape Kennedy. They heard the countdown begin in the barrios of Compton and East LA. They watched in the tiny apartments of Tokyo as the mist tumbled from the Atlas boosters of Apollo 11. They watched as three of our kind, Armstrong, Aldrin, and Collins, went down their checklist as they had 1,000 times in Houston, Texas. But this wasn't just another run-through. This was real. This was history. This was karma. This was prophecy. This was Verdad. The spirits of the Apache Skywatchers, the Mojave and Navajo, were in the capsule with them, along with the ghosts of Grissom and Chaffee and White. The launch pad was alive with the spirits of Lindbergh and Lewis and Clark, Sitting Bull and Erickson, alive with all the spirits of 1,000,000 years of searching the heavens for something, for anything, for the answer. And it was real. As real as the spirits that moved among us since the beginning of time, as real as the spirit that lives within all of us. All of us who looked at the glowing screens on that July day and saw the earth rise above the moon horizon. Above the moon horizon, we saw ourselves. silver screen. And we would circle the Mother and Challenger and Enterprise and float above the silent seas. And it was real. And the spirits who pass between the layers of the seen and unseen float as guardians beside the people on cords who drift in dreams above their craft. And as the satellite chases its own orbit around her home, the astronaut's eyes gaze downward at the Mother and the landing strip at Edwards, where the sounds of the X-1 and glamorous Glennis are still heard in the morning thunder. And jet trails are still seen in the sky by young braves on high ridges. And their eyes are our eyes, for we are all